Well, hi, beautiful village. It's Marianne Goldweber, spiritual teacher, professional medium, and owner of a village personal and spiritual development center, coming to you live tonight for my video podcast that I do on Wednesdays. It's called Marianne's House. And welcome. We're at the village center tonight. Thanks for joining me. So, April showers bring May flowers. We had a lot of rain today here in Ohio, and it's just getting everything washed off and getting ready for spring. So I just wanted to spend some time with you tonight to keep you inspired and keep you up to date on the spiritual goings-on so that you can start navigating this wonderful world and all the wonderful things that are going to be growing in this spring season. So I usually wait for a second for everyone to join me. But how are you guys? You having a good day? Definitely a Wednesday. I thought for sure it was Tuesday, to be honest with you. Oh, hey, Michelle. Thanks for joining me. So yeah, rain is a beautiful thing. Rain in the spring is very important because it washes away the debris of winter. And so all of these things spiritually are bringing us a message about what we should be doing in our own life. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. What are the purposes of spring and the awarenesses that it brings us, and how we can use this time to move forward in a better way. So that's what I'm going to do. So we have some very interesting astrology going on. We finally came out of that new moon, which usually makes you feel it's a time of reflection. So it makes you introspective. So it's a time of stillness, and it gives us a chance to really reflect and review for the month. So these cycles in nature are very important. And if we can learn how to get into the flow of that energy, that cycle energy, it's reciprocal. So when you get in the flow, things start to go a little smoother. Now, a lot of things in our human world, like time and obligations and meetings and, are run kind of contrary to what our natural tendencies are. So there's a way to find some kind of a balance in that. Like, for instance, I had a client called me the other day, and she's trying to squeeze in, a session while she's driving, from here to there and between things. And that's kind of not how the spiritual thing works. When you have a spiritual perspective, it starts to help you put the human stuff into another order. And you come to find that all that hurry and scurry and fear is really blocking the road to new things coming into your perception when you're just, got your eyes focused and you're, grinding along. So when we have this spiritual perspective, and I say this every time, all the time, that when we have this spiritual perspective, it allows us to really detach from this human energy and allows us to really be a lot more objective about who, what, and we're giving energy to. And yes, there are things that are important, but we have to learn to prioritize. We can't just keep putting out fires, So I just wanted to talk a little bit about spring. So, hey, Sue, thanks for joining me. And so spring is a time where everything starts to kind of come out of hibernation. Okay, so it's coming out, it's assessing what's going on. And the weather, we're blessed to have 4 seasons here in Ohio, where there's a lot of places that have seasons, but it's not in the same way, not quite as severely as we do. But spring is a time where Mother Nature's washing off all the winter dust and dirt, and so it's watering the ground. It's getting it prepared for us to be able to pull out the weeds and get rid of the debris and clean up the mess from the end of the year last year so that we can create a field that we can plant. Okay, so we're right now gathering the tools. We're going to be going out there in the next 30 days, and we're going to start preparing the ground for receiving the seeds that we're planting. Now, all of this is, symbolic of planting the seeds in our life, new ideas, new opportunities, clearing away the debris. So if you sit with this, okay, and you look around yourself, what's in the way? What's blocking our way? What's done? What's from another season? When is it time to just let these things go graciously? And where are we clearing the road and making room for new things to manifest? Now, I always equate it to the farmer clearing the field, and then he eventually plants the seeds, and then they don't pull up a chair and wait for the crop to grow. They go get ready for the harvest. So this is what we're doing in our own lives and in the world. Okay, so we're looking at the damage control, of what happened over the winter. We're getting out the trash bags and we're cleaning up all the debris. And then Mother Nature is helping us water the ground to make it soft, to bring all the little bugs back up and to water the bulbs that come up first. And so that's kind of what's happening. So that's where we're at right now. It's really just about assessing the damage. Mother Nature's washing everything off. So this is where I personally would help her and get out my power washer in the next 3 weeks or so and just start hosing stuff off and cleaning up the debris and leaves from last year and trying to get a vision for what I want, this to look like. What do I want my patio to look like? What do I want to plant? So in the coming days, over the next 30 days, one of the things that I do is I am an herbalist, and I used to own a store in Rocky River called Away with Herbs, and I used to have a plant sale every spring. So I would like to talk to you guys about gardening and planting herbs and how we can grow those and harvest those and how to store them and put them up, because I think we're starting to see that we're a little too dependent on some systems that aren't necessarily helping us, and we've lost these old arts. I know how to knit, I know how to sew, I know how to can food, I know how to grow food, I know the purposes of herbs and essential oils and all of those things. And so I took my hobby after I left corporate and I turned it into a business. And again, we all have lost touch with our ancestral ties and our grandmothers and great-grandmothers and grandpas and dads who used to teach us these things. And so I think everybody's getting a new awakening to being a little more self-reliant and less wasteful. And so putting up foods that are seasonal especially is a wonderful way to prepare, to get ready. So as we're entering into this time of spring, this is a time of really just cleaning things up. And so in our own life, that means what are the things left over that just need to be finished, And so as we assess those things, this is a wonderful time to take out the trash, And I always joke, I say, when God takes out the trash, don't go dragging it back in. But it's a time of being willing to evolve, willing to change the way we see things, willing to learn new talents and skills or hone the ones you already have. You don't have to live in a place that has land to garden. You can have container growing. There's lots of cool ways. And supporting local farmers, that's another thing. If I didn't grow enough tomatoes, I would go out and buy bushels of tomatoes so that I could can sauce and things like that. So there's lots of ways to do these things, even if you're apartment dwellers. There's all kinds of cool ways to do this. And there's also co-ops and collectives that do these things as well. So that's fun. So I have to tell you, Mercury and Venus are still retrograde until respectively April 7th and April 14th or 12th. So there's what we call a shadow phase, which means it's about another week after that before it's safe to really be a little more conscious of your words and assessing the relationships in our life. Again, everything's being assessed as we're washing off all the, debris from the past or last year or whatever, last season. We're really looking at things much more objectively and going, this was wonderful when I had it, but, it doesn't serve me any longer. And so I'm grateful for this thing, but I'm going to go, pass it on forward. So whether that's an idea, a way of thinking, or people, places, and things that we have, all of those things are really under review right now, and we're clearing the road. So If you have a natural tendency to feel like you should be doing that, that's why. Because these planetary influences do have an influence on us and our water and our bodies. And so you might be feeling a little emotional, or you might be starting to feel excited. That's a wonderful new feeling because, as these truths are being revealed, it's showing us new ways. It's giving us new opportunities to do things differently. And that's a wonderful thing. I'm so excited. So, again, the universe is still saying, this is a marathon, not a race. And every new action we create moving forward is going to generate a ripple. And when there's 2 of us, then there's 4 of us, then there's 8 of us. More and more people are awakening and really starting to look at things. So it's a beautiful thing, guys. You have to have faith and trust. The universe is behind the scenes doing some amazing things. So it's not all up to you. You don't have to, awaken the world. Everybody's getting it in their own time, in their own way. All that matters is that you got it and that I got it. And we're the example now moving forward because actions speak a lot louder than words. So that's the astrology that we have going on. Excuse me. So every Tuesday, I have a virtual class, and I'm going to really start advertising those more. They're only $25, but they're on all the spiritual topics. They're going to help you have a toolbox of information so that you can understand dreams, that you have an understanding of your own natal chart astrology, that some of them are personal development as well. So it's about defining our relationships. It's about, being accountable to ourselves and using that spiritual perspective in order to navigate things regardless of where you are. That when we create change, it changes everything. Everything starts to shift. And so I know there's a lot of you on here who are testimony to that. So I'm offering also gift certificates. They're going to be good through the special goes through the end of April, but the gift certificates are good for 3 months. So these are a wonderful thing to give as a gift, especially for Mother's Day coming, okay? Kids and partners and whoever, okay, if you have a mother in your life, sometimes they don't take time to buy these things for themselves, okay? We'll feed you before we feed ourselves. That's how it works. Now, that's not necessarily healthy, okay, but that's what we've learned to do. And so giving someone the gift of insight and spending time with the other side and ancestors and relatives and people that you love on the other side have such wisdom to share with us. And it's such a beautiful thing. And so having a one-on-one session is very personal. It's very inspirational. And there is a lot of healing that comes when we talk about or talk with our friends and relatives that are guiding us and helping us. It's hard because they're not here physically. But once you learn how to listen for them, then it leaves you with empowering tools to know that you're always being divinely guided and helped. So, yes, dreaming is off the hook right now, okay? And dreams are powerful and they're important, but they're not always literal, okay? So your brain takes what information it has and it starts to turn it into this movie, okay? So everything in the dream is symbolic. So if you go onto my website and look up the dream interpretation class, go register for it. It's only $25 and it's virtual. So you don't even have to leave your house. Bring your dream journal with you. So start writing those down because I do go through dreams in the class and help you decipher what those mean. Everything in the dream has meaning. And so once you understand the symbolism, then you're going to look forward to going to bed. You're going to want to sleep better because you're spending time with your ancestors and relatives. And you're getting insight from the other side through those movie time, nighttime dreams. So yeah, join us for that. Now, I have a public channeling event this Friday night and every Friday night through the month of April. So we still have seats available for this Friday night's event. Now, it's only $30. I've lowered the price because I love having people in a group who don't always necessarily know each other. But it's creating community and it's creating spiritual understanding, and it's so empowering. And it's so much fun to hear from not only your own ancestors and relatives, but from other people's, and so it's just such a wonderful experience for those of you that have never experienced it. A public channeling event is so much fun. Now, here at a village, there are only 12 people. So everyone, it's a very intimate evening of just talking to the 12 of us and listening to the messages and the things that are coming through for that. So bring your bestie. You could fill a whole event with your people if you like, if you want to do something like that. So go to my website under events and take a look at, all my public events are in person here at the village in Parma. So if you go onto my website under events, you'll see all the dates and how many seats are remaining. And you can fill it up. Just pay online and book them for your friends and relatives and just bring them with. If you want to fill a whole event, call me to let me know that that's going to be your own private party. And then you guys can bring your own food and things like that. I always provide beverages and light snacks. So that's what's going on every Friday. Now, I am going to be at Project White Butterflies Recovery Collective tomorrow night, and the topics are always recovery centered, but they're the classes that I teach to everyone. Excuse me. So the class we're going to do tomorrow night, they're mini classes. So the class we're going to do is defining our relationships. So since we're in this time of spring and assessing things, understanding how to understand ourselves and the relationships and the things that we get in alignment with. Okay. So it's about emotional, spiritual, and personal accountability to ourselves, and then how to choose better situations and opportunities and people to partner with in our life. So yeah, it's a wonderful thing. So I also offer that on Tuesday nights as well, once a month. Now, I have a gigantic event going on at Wagner's of Westlake. Now, guys, I've headlined in the theaters. I've been on television. I have to tell you, being in a gigantic group like that it's so much fun. Even though we can't really dig into some very recent loss things, what you leave with is so empowering. And you get to hear all these messages and hang out with just the coolest folks. Okay, it's a huge room filled with a lot of people. And for those of you that have ever attended one of my bigger events, it's like a stand-up show too. Okay, I always told Jared I was going to start doing psychic stand-up. But again, the other side is very funny, and they have a lot to say. So whether that's your relatives, ancestors, angels, guides, pets, everybody, anything that can come through. And in those environments, they keep it super light, but very powerful and very inspiring. And it's nice to just get a little taste of kind of the work I do, because I'm a little different than the way other people do this. I'm here to empower you to trust your own knowing and know who is divinely guiding you. And so, everybody's got this weird Uncle Bob. That's who shows up to these things, not the people you necessarily expect. But wow, it makes you go, wow. And I love being amazed, even though, I've been doing this forever. There still is messages in this for me as well. So join us at Wagner's of Westlake. Now that includes a heavy appetizer, hot buffet, and cash bar. And a wonderful evening with me. It's very interactive. I try very hard to give everyone in that room an personal experience. But I do pull tickets, and I pull more specific readings out of a hat, by ticket. So yeah, bring your friends. There's tables of 8. So if you want to get 8 people together, you'll have your own table, like a VIP thing. So so go to the Wagner's of Westlake website, or to mine, mariannegoldweber.com/events, and it's listed on there. So that's what's going on. And that's on April 26th, I believe. Now we have a couple of seats left for our pet channeling event, which is called Tales from the Other Side. Okay. These are going to be a ball. It's so much easier animals are actually easier to channel than people. And so doing an event, just a public channeling event just for pets is a wonderful thing. Now, I'm sure an ancestor or two will pop in because, they can't help themselves. And, but it is pet centric. So we're going to talk about animals, what they mean to us in this human reality, and, just their unconditional love, and all of the things about Pales, called Tales from the Other Side. So yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to that. The first one was sold out, and the second one I believe is on the 19th. And I think there's a few seats remaining for that. So we've got a lot going on. I'm excited to empower you guys, to get you excited about this life. And, it's like leadership camp, you guys are being groomed for greatness. And, that's why, our pain does become our purpose. How will we ever understand other people if we don't ever understand ourselves, right? I know who I am. I know where I've been. Now, I am an interfaith minister, and I am a humanitarian. Okay, so don't get that twisted. Okay, I am very active in this world. I'm an advocate. I go to court. I go to jail. I go to hospice. I go to places where people need support. Not necessarily to change it for them, but just to hold them up while they're having their experience. And so when you guys buy readings and come to parties and do these events, it pays for me to be able to do that thing in somebody's worst moment. Okay, so I'm so grateful. But first and foremost, I work for the other side. I'm here to bring people closer to that thing of their understanding, that God of their understanding, to give them hope and help. And so I think people underestimate the responsibility that comes with being a spiritual person in this human world. I'm working to help the least of us, and to get them on their feet so they can be productive. Some people have an awful experience that you can't completely understand. And so, whether it's a serious, tragic death, or some cataclysmic thing that happens in someone's life, I do that. Okay, that's what I do. And a lot of you have been recipients of that in your worst moment. And so I'm grateful if you guys feel like you want to donate or throw something on my Venmo, or bring things to Project White Butterfly if you want to drop off donations for their outreach as well. It really does take a village. And that's really my role, is as an interfaith minister walking it out here in the world. And so I'm grateful for you. And again, some days you don't have faith, but I do. I have enough for both of us. So again, I'm so grateful for all of you. Let's take a look and see who's here tonight. Oh, I love you all. Hey, Michelle, and Sue, Debbie, Shannon, my friend. Yeah, Shannon, I love Shannon. She is one of the best fabric textile people I've ever met. She knits and crochets things that you can't even believe. I can make square things, okay? I can make pot holders, and if I knit longer, it becomes a scarf. So that's as far as I can go. But that's the beauty of the village. There are so many people who have skills, and when we all come together, we get to share those, And so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, guys. We know people. And we will connect you. We connect you to each other. In fact, there's so many things holistically that I cannot do. So connecting you to other resources out here in the world is it's like a giant networking thing. So I'm excited about everybody coming back out and hanging out with me here, or meeting me out there at some of the events that I have going on. But here at a village, we've got a lot of cool things happening. So I'd love for you to come out and join us. Hey, Debbie. Hi, Colleen. So Michelle says, now I'm sorry guys, this scrolling thing on my phone does not work right. So if I don't get to your question, hey Cynthia, thanks for joining me. Hi Chris. I love you too, honey. Yes, it is in person on Friday, Michelle. Michelle said, been having so many dreams the past week with people from the past. Exactly. So that's what we're doing. We're reflecting and reviewing the past. What did we learn from that? And then how do we say thank you for that experience? Thank you for that interaction. And I'm better for it. And it's okay to start letting those things go. So our dream time is all about that. So that's common, especially during these shifts, like seasonal shifts or the moon shifting. We're going to be coming into the full moon in about a week from now. So everybody's going to start feeling a little more energized, okay? Now, if you have a plan, you feel excited. If you don't have a plan or you're feeling behind, it might make you anxious, okay? So that full moon has an effect on everybody. So that's why it's great to have a private session and get a plan. Now, I also do coaching, which means it's a block of 3 sessions where you get a different tool every time we're together. And then you get kind of like homework to go home and, work on those things. And then we meet up and reconvene and we move you to the next level. So yeah, there's so many things that we can offer here. And we just need you guys to get invested in yourself, in what we're doing here, and all the wonderful nonprofits and the people that I'm connecting you to out in the world. I'm not referring these things out here to scare you. It's just so that you know there are good people out here doing these things, boots on the ground, in the trenches. And so if you or your team or your organization needs some inspiration, I do off-site workshops here at a village. So you could bring your team here and get them off-site and get them recharged and get them energized and getting them, kind of working together. And so we do all kinds of really cool events. All the events that I do are on my services page for, for public speaking or for workshops. So yeah, I'm getting excited, guys. And I handled these things differently than most people because I've been through so many things. Okay, not only in my own life but in this world. I mean, you have to remember, I'm an old lady. Okay, in a way, I've seen some things. I've been through a lot of upheaval and shifts in our world, and I was part of that. I was there in the 80s. I was there in the 70s. I was there in the 60s. And I was exposed to a lot of things. So again, as we're awakening, we need elders to show people how to do that, okay? How to get active, how to get back into being parts of communities, because a lot of things have distracted us and pulled us away from that. So it's about building community, and we can't do that if we don't leave our house. So there's nothing to fear out there, guys, really, okay? Fear is the enemy, and it keeps us stuck, and it keeps us uninspired. And I'm just telling you, there's very little to fear. Fear is an illusion. There are legitimate things to be concerned about, but those fears that are being projected, the more confidence you have, the less you are of a target. So join me, come on out and let's do some things. And so yeah, that's what I got tonight. So spring, this is a time of softening the ground, clearing away the debris, washing everything off so that we can assess what we got, where we at. And then we get our tools ready for planting, for bringing new things out into the physical world. And so fear and panic is not an option, okay? This is about working smarter, not harder. And prepared, be prepared, like the Boy Scouts. My grandpa used to say, prepare for the worst, but expect the best. Okay, the more prepared you are, the more confident you feel. And so when we have these not only spiritual understandings, but how that applies in this human life and what that looks like, it's very empowering. And you feel like you can do almost anything. So that's what we're doing. This is leadership camp, folks, okay? And you're on the transition team. So let's walk in truth, let's walk in faith, and let's help each other. Together we can do so many things. In fact, it's the only way. You can't do this by yourself. So thanks so much. I'm Marianne Goldweber, signing off. Please pray for our world. Peace. And let's do it. I can't wait to hear from you. Join me.